Welcome to First Look. It's our Monday wrap-up show, and I think this is going to be an absolute beauty. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined in Melbourne by the Kid MG. Mark, how are you, mate?
Very good, Scooty. Been a good week.
It's all happening. There's sport on everywhere, and Toprope, well, I thought he might call in sick. He's just had one of the all-time sickest beats. We're not talking rugby league. We're not talking about the WA wipeout in the election. We're talking about the US PGA Championship of Golf. Mito Pereira, ultimate choke, 200-1. He pulls the big dog up 18. He's a shot in front, and it goes straight into the creek. How are you, Toprope?
I'm devastated. I'll tell you what, Scoot, if Albo isn't lining up an invasion force for Chile right now, he's got to have a good long hard look at himself. Absolute disgrace. Seriously, that was John Vandervelde, 99 Open Championship. That was, I'm surprised he wasn't waded down the creek, pants rolled up to try and chip it out. Unbelievable.
How can you let a player, as a caddy, hit the big dog off the tee at 18 when all they need is to find a fairway? Bogey at worst puts him in the playoff. It's unfathomable that sequence of events has happened. He's lipped out the hole before, or he's just missed. He's missed by a bee's diaphragm. It's just unbelievable. I just can't. I can't believe what I saw. So your sickness is just must be unparalleled this morning.
I'm absolutely still in shock. You made a good point coming onto the show off air, Scooty, that the Mito Pereira's caddy's Scotty Scheffler's old caddy. How's Scotty gone since ditching the caddy?
Airborne. Can't lose.
Mito Pereira, I'm available for the bag next year if you need me. I don't know. I'm sure I don't know as much as you can't, caddy, but I'll tell you what, I'll be snapping that driver in two before I let you hit it on 18.
A little text message to Big Daddy too, Adam Fraser. He said, mate, how is the caddy not just placed the hand over the driver and said, not allowed. Just you can't remove. Physically, you cannot remove the driver from the bag. I guess it's easy in hindsight. I think he's fifth best driving all day. But the wheels fell off and just lost the unlosable. MG, let's move on because Toprope needs probably a couple of moments to compose himself. How was the AFL this week? I tell you what, I think I saw about a half or all combined, one full game of football. I saw a little bit of the Carlton game. I saw a smidgen of the Hawthorn game, a little bit of Collingwood Fremantle. I tell you what I saw still wasn't great. The Blues were blistering on Friday night. I will say that. I'm not sure if they're Melbourne Demons type territory yet, but I'm surprised they're starting to look pretty good, the Blues.
Yeah, they were, Scooty. It was a big test for them. They've got an easy draw. They've had an easy draw, and they've been coasting along. Sydney were a good test for them, and they definitely did test them, and Carlton stood up and come away with a W. So it was the match of the round going in, and it was probably one of the better matches for the week. There was some ordinary opposition into it, though, Scooty, so you probably didn't miss too many good quarters or games along the way. You would have watched your Hawks, surely, getting the job done over the second Premiership favourites in Brisbane. They were enormous down in Tassie. You should play all your games down there. Any chance you're moving full-time?
I'll tell you what, they can't just keep introducing new teams, and I sort of, that's the bee in my bonnet, but the fiddling of the game, and I did see the Jai Newcomb free kick that was against Lachie Neale. Poor Lachie Neale, the top line players get tagged, and it's just beyond embarrassment, that free kick to give away to Neale, he gets badgered, he gets pushed around all game, and I'm not sure what the umpires and the AFL are trying to do. Are they worried that kids at local footy level are giving a bit of push and shove, and they're trying to make it a better spectacle so they don't follow suit? Well, news flash, in the under 8s, they're already doing it. And I think the niggle and human competitive nature will just be around forever. So if someone's giving me a hard time, I'm just going to push them back. So it really is on the brink of collapse, AFL. The crowds are staying well away. I can barely watch it. Lots of blokes in my similar age group who all played the game, they're just nearly given up on the code. I say it, I said it last week. It's probably a good thing I've removed myself off these shows full time for the whole season because I'd be a broken record. But it is absolute disrepair, the AFL, the umpiring. How many free kicks were there in the Hawthorn Brizzy match, MG?
63, I believe.
Is that a record?
It's far too much, that's for sure. And the amount of free kicks were terrible. I think there was different chats that you're obviously in. Someone said the worst 90 seconds you've ever seen in the AFL. They gave away 3 free kicks, which resulted in a Brisbane goal from the wing and then Hawthorn from the back line. When the game was in the balance in the last quarter, none of the free kicks were there. It's just too many. 63 is crazy. And that Neil one on Newcombe, I know it gets highlighted, but that wasn't the worst free kick, Scooty, for the game either. So, $1 billion business, and that's what they want to dish up for their officials. I know Toprope goes on a lot about the bunker, and the bunker's a disgrace as well in the NRL. Scooty, I don't understand why it's such a difficult process. Make the umpires full time, educate them, and if they're not good enough, move them on and get the next lot in. Because, it's $1 billion business and they've got basically $2 umpires pretty much. That was a disgrace. It wasn't the only game. The Brisbane Hawthorn game is one of the worst we've seen this year. It's got a lot of competition, so it is saying something.
I know OB listens to this show, so MG wrote the notes here. Brisbane versus Hawthorn game umpires must be sacked. So Toprope, he's rubbing off on me. He's rubbing off on MG. We want more blood. We want sackings. And we want the men in white or the men in fluoro yellow to be sacked. So, OB, start knocking them over in there, big fella.
You know when the AFLs have had a bad week, Scooty, because OB doesn't come on the show and he's out for he's a scratching for this Friday. So it was a bad week and they have to get better at it.
Top rope, what are the big takeaways from the rugby league over the weekend? Much controversy?
No, it was a relatively controversy-free weekend. We had the top 4 all played each other, which just happened to be election night, so probably the least viewership you're ever going to get for top 4 teams playing each other in the middle of the year. But the Cowboys absolutely thumped the Storm, 36-6. No Jerome Hughes again, so a few worrying signs there from Melbourne if they can't perform without Pap and Jerome. So that's a concern. And Penrith probably got a bit lucky. The Roosters had Penrith 0 all deep into the first half, and then somehow conceded 3 late tries going 18-0, and that game was over at half time. The big news out of the weekend, that was unquestionably out of Manly. Tom Trbojevic looks like he's out for the year, trying to save a try. He's busted his shoulder. I'd say he's long odds to play again this year. He's out for an extended period of rest time, so you'd say Manly are probably cast now. So, that's huge news out there. And Bulldogs played their first game without Trent Barrett. Fun fact, they haven't gotten any better. They got absolutely thumped by the West Tigers, 36-22 in another disgraceful performance. In fairness to Big Potter, he's only been there 2 days, but if he picks Jade Knockenball one more time, I don't know how many interim coaches have been sacked, but I'll be calling for his head too.
Get the keys. All right. Interesting state of origins a couple of weeks away, but New South Wales now 154, Queensland 250, and 4.5 the line there. So a little bit of a shift and a bit of a push for Queensland now that Tommy Turbo, and we've got a couple of players under some big clouds. So that might keep moving the Queensland line there, and the price might be one for the early shoppers.
Yeah, I'd rather be on Queensland than New South Wales right now. I think Queensland are kind of getting a few players kind of knocking on the door, pushing for selection. Your likes of Selwyn Cobbo, it would certainly add a kind of bit of dynamism to the Queensland backline. Whereas, the Blues have lost Trbojevic, they've lost probably Pappenhausen, they've lost Latrell Mitchell. So their backline starting to look a little bit thin. The likes of Tony Staggs or Stephen Crichton could come into the side now. So, would rather be on Queensland Plus.
What about Munster? How was he after the Storm loss? He said they were like under 12s the week before. What were they? Under 14s quality this week? Was he scathing again?
Didn't hear it. Too busy deep in the election for the post-game press conference. But it was an all-time weekend on the punt. Just to quietly, Scooty, there was a lot going on. I did have one eye on this game, and the Storm were well and truly in it for a long time. Had a couple of little breaks and the kind of score blew out late. Cowboys just playing very good football. I had them for the wooden spoon this year. Yeah, I was obviously very, very wrong on them this year. They've now won 6 straight, and they're playing a pretty good brand of football. They're really spinning it wide, and they're not relying on these kind of boring middle resets every set online. So kudos to the Cowboys. I think it's time to kind of probably reevaluate them and probably put them up into that kind of second tier attention.
Yeah, it's sort of come from nowhere, haven't they? But just quickly on the election, I think we started with 17,900 in our little punters club there, and we've got 51.1%, I guess, majority there to Labor, with 75.7% of the vote counted. So that'll make it a chop out. And then if the coalition can win at Curtin, there's currently 47.9%, and there's only there's 69% counted there. So we can't really finalise the punters club for the election until these seats get finalised. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay with the payout there. So hopefully Labor can kick along in Bennelong for a chop out, and then we'll get the W if the coalition can hang on to Curtin. But they just need a bit of a swing there for the last 30% of votes. So, mate, you did a great effort, and the independents just, wow, didn't they? A lot of people were saying it was going to be the minor parties that caused havoc for the two major teams there, Liberal and the Coalition. But wow, did you expect it to be that savage?
No, look, probably a few takeaways. I wasn't surprised at the stance against the Morrison government. Like he was well and truly on the nose. Was surprised that there probably wasn't a more ringing endorsement of Labor. Was stunned by Tasmania not switching to Labor. I thought they would absolutely, swing. That's traditionally been a Labor state for a long period of time, and was, I wouldn't say stunned, but probably stunned by the level of the savagery in Western Australia towards the coalition. It's losing seats like tagging on a swing of like 11-12%, insane. But in terms of the minor parties, like I kind of, those who were in the punters club kind of saw we had a lot of bets on the independents. We weren't overly surprised that they won Wentworth, won Goldstein, but the level at which they won, and they nearly all won. When they're claiming North Sydney, McKellop, the Liberals have been wiped out in the city, in Melbourne, in Sydney, and in Brisbane. And Brisbane not to the Teals, but to the Greens. It's going to be a real kind of time of reckoning for a coalition party that's probably lurched way too far to the right.
Can you see it continuing to go this way at the next election? I'm worried that it's a complete shift in mindset here from especially like the younger voters. They seem to be all locked into, I guess, this teal and green way of thinking.
Yeah, well, one thing that's kind of historically been the case is that when an independent comes in and does a popular job, we're not talking about like a Tony Windsor or Rob Oakeshott who kind of betrayed their constituency by putting Labor in from kind of a very conservative seat. But you look at kind of, Don Chips from the Australian Democrats going all the way through to Ted Mack in North Sydney. Like, popular independents can survive for long, long periods of time in the lower house. And I don't see that changing. Adam Bantt's a great thing. Like the green wave in the inner cities is going nowhere. Like they still might pick up McNamara, the Greens. They pulled out 2 seats in Brisbane, which is stunning. And look, they're probably a little bit more flaky in the fact that they were based on a very localised issue of airport stuff. But like, I can't see, unless Albo does a great job in kind of reconciling how the major parties operate with each other, I can kind of see this happening for the next couple of elections. And I think the Liberals are going to be very much hard up against it and winning back some of those old blue ribbon seats. Yeah,
it's a big shift, and I couldn't agree more. Let's have a quick look at the AFL. Just a little shout out to Top Sport there. You could have got down for big bets on the election, and good little reminder. I went to the footy with them yesterday at the Gold Coast, and they are Australian owned. So stop betting with the internationals and make sure you keep the dollars onshore. So if you're betting, make sure you bet with an Australian owned bookmaker who pump the money back into grassroots. So topsport.com.au is our major sponsor there. So the AFL round 10, let's have a look at the results now. Carlton over the Swans, held off a late surge from Sydney, 102-87. Geelong beat Port at the Cattery, 82-47. The Doggies did enough against the Gold Coast Suns, 106-87. The D's, too good for the Kangas, 100-53. St Kilda got the job done over Adelaide, 90-69. Richmond Tigers won the Dreamtime Clash, 80-48. Nice little run of form for the Tigers. MG's men, GWS, 138-86. The Eagles are completely legless. The Hawks, a little bit gifted late, 117-112. And then Collingwood, far too classy for Fremantle, 80-44. Let's have a quick look at the bookie wrap. So 6 of 9 favourites covered. sorry, 6 and 9 favourites won, 5 and 9 covered. The totals were a little bit down, 4 out of 9, and the home teams were 6 and 9 for the season at 62 and 90 at 69% for the favourites. 55% of the favourites have covered the line, and the totals are 51 and 90 at 56%, and the home teams are 51 and 90. Any further comments on those results, MG?
Yeah, no, pretty even week again, Scoot. The bookies probably just keep shading the punters at this stage. Anytime the favourites run below 70, it's generally a bookie's year to date, and anytime they get above, might swing to the punters a bit. But yeah, it's interesting. Don't know the last time we're getting 10 rounds in where the covers are in the positive or above 50%. The last couple of years, they've definitely between the 45 to 50 range. So the favourite punters are probably going better in the covers, and yeah, good to see the totals just shading the overs at the moment. Home teams are probably down as well. So, but yeah, just probably some even weeks going on, Scooty. There's just enough favourites getting beat for the bookies.
Yeah, and your AFL Stings are travelling nicely, 18 and 15, so round 10, 12.5 units bet for plus 6.3, and for the season now you're at 7.46 pots. So we told you last week, now's the time to get on the AFL Stings, $22 a week. You can have that. So head to littlebirdie.live into the shop, and Mark will help you. And he was all over it with the totals. So in the Carlton Sydney game, he got the chocolates there, the Doggies Gold Coast. I just kept seeing the total come through in the notifications via the Little Birdie app, and it was just music to my ears. So I just kept peppering away on the totals there. And a little bit of a half-time flare action here. Fremantle Collingwood, second half high scoring. I thought this was interesting at the $1.80, and you got the job done there. So 2.5 units. So starting to see them well, and a little bit of in-play flair at half time there, MG.
Yeah, top rope's rubbing off on me with a bit of Ric Flair. It was good to see that the weather course is paying off, Scooty, that Crownbet put me through about 5 years ago. The couple of bookies just fell asleep with the weather over in Perth, that it was going to rain in the first half and then clear up the second half. So the total fell off its perch there, 153 down to 134. So punters that followed the weather got the chocolates there. But yeah, the second half, nothing better than free money, Scoot, to finish off the weekend.
No, I love that. And out at Seabus Stadium, I was staggered how well that pitch or that ground just soaked up the water. Everywhere, a lot of the places around the Gold Coast, they're underwater. All the golf courses, lots of parkland. It's flash flooding everywhere. But Seabus, beautiful out there, Toprope. I couldn't believe the total's 40.5. The bookies just didn't move. I thought, oh, well, this is a mile to go under, and why isn't the line shifting? But you get out there and it's beautiful. It's like Gabbergrass. It's unbelievable pitch.
It's like being on a podcast with Brian Bury and Tim Bailey, such as the great weather talk we've got going on here. It's the Suncorp and Seabus both hold up really, really well. Kind of, unless you're at the suburban grounds like Leichhardt, which kind of got pretty muddy the other night. You don't see too much of the old school kind of muddy football.
Mm. You don't need to be a weatherman where you two live either. Gold Coast is easy; it rains every single day, and Sydney it hasn't stopped raining at all. So, come down to sunny Melbourne, guys. We're still in shorts down here.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
I live a fair way from Sydney, MG. We get plenty of golf out of here. Not too much rain out this way, mate.
AFL futures time. Melbourne Demons have got a stranglehold on the market, $2.40. Brisbane Lions, $5.50. Carlton probably the bowl of $10. Geelong, $11. Richmond Tigers, $12. Dockers, $16. Saints, $17. Doggies, $17. Sydney Swans, $19. Port Adelaide, $34. Collingwood, $67, but no one else can win. Not too much to talk about there. Let's have a quick look at the Brownlow. If you listened to last week's show, you would have been you might have specced Lachie Neale, who MG thought there was a little bit of value for. He's now $3.90 favourite over Cripps, $4. Oliver, $6. Petrarca, $7. Brayshaw is $9. Sandwalsh, $15. Callum Mills, $18. Bailey Smith, $26. And Took Miller, $26 there. Not really any big talking points for me in that one, but obviously someone might have snapped up a little bit of a price on Lachie Neale off the back of MG's tip last week.
Oliver's the one, Scooty, that we've been specking for about the last probably month. And I just think at $6, he's still valued. Neale probably deserves to be favourite. Cripps has got off to a good start, but Melbourne, definitely not going to lose too many games if they lose any this year. And there's only 3 that pile at the top. So that I know they're probably going to have to share, but if this team goes and wins 20 plus games, that's a lot of votes to share around. Oliver's too big. He should be. If he shouldn't be favourite, he should be really close, in my opinion. I'd just keep backing him at this stage. He was best on ground again on the weekend, and there's only a few chances he can win it right now, Scooty. They're really pulling away these top couple. They're at record pace, so I'd be still chipping away at Oliver as well as Neil here.
Beautiful. All right, so if you're not on, still plenty of meat on the bone for Clayton Oliver. Love hearing that. Coleman Medal, Charlie Curnow, $3.20. Tom Lynch, $3.20. Just can't kick straight for such a good player. Sad. Max King, $5.50. Tom Hawkins, $6. Jeremy Cameron, $6.50. Tomato Peter is $12. Astronaut, $15. And Texan Walker, $26. The big boudoir is $31. Bailey Fritsch, love that bloke, $34. And Lynch has got a little bit of injury there, so a bit of an asterisk if you're going to fall into him. But as we said, MG is on fire, so you can locate his AFL Stings for $22 a week in littlebirdie.live shop, so make sure you do that. You get the full preview via email, then you get the updated Stings as it rolls out from the Little Birdie app, so nothing better than having MG in your pocket and just a little bit of the totals action. If it's too much heartache backing one side or the other, MG's a man for you because he just cheer points or just death ride them. So it's an easy way to bet if you're new to AFL betting. Top rope, there's no time for a break here. I think we're just going to keep punching away here. Let's have a look at the results. We've got the Broncos 36-12 over Newcastle, West 36-22 over the Bulldogs, Para 22-20 over Manly. As you said, Tommy Turbo's the talking point there. St George 24-18. New Zealand have been playing spirited football of late. North Queensland with that massive thumping of the Melbourne Storm, 36-6. Penrith too good, 32-12. They got one hand on the trophy for mine. Canberra 32-12 over South. Big problems at South. They are absolutely gone. And then the Sharks were pretty good, 25-18 over the Titans. My new second side, Nicho Hines. Tell you what, there was the plus punters yesterday. I was one of them. I cannot believe... Speaking of taking the driver out on the 18th, I couldn't believe it. Nicho Hines kicked a field goal late as we just got into that safe 6.5 territory. And then Gold Coast Titans in the last minute got a penalty. They needed an 8-point try, so a penalty amongst the try somehow. They could have just taken 2 points. And what do they do? They run the ball and everyone on the plus gets absolutely rissoled unless you shopped early and got the 7.5. It's one of the most strangest things ever that I've seen in a rugby game.
Classic Titans. Yeah, I was also on the plus 6.5, celebrating the comeback at the end, and then not only kind of was the late penalty kind of deeply annoying, the 2 drop balls in the last minute and a half coming out.
Unbelievable.
It's like, just hold on to the thing. Like, what are you doing? Just hold on to the ball. Like, you're a professional footballer. How hard is it to hold the ball? It wasn't like they were losing the ball in tackles. Oh, very frustrating. Very frustrating. But I guess the big talking point of the weekend, though, Scooty, was even with a fair bit of weather around, 8 overs. 8 overs to make games.
Yeah.
He loves his overs. So plenty of points in the rugby league this week.
Plenty of points. I hope Gold Coast Titans miss the finals by a point after that brain fade. It's just garbage. They're probably not going to make it anyway, and hopefully they can recruit a couple of players next year. But tell you what, grim stuff out there yesterday at Seabus. Week 11, let's have a look at the bookie rate. 4 of 8 faves, only 3 of 8 covered. The overs, 8 from 8. Wowee. And the home team's 4 of 8. And then for the season, it's 57-88 at 65%. Favourites hitting line, and then covers slightly down, 42 out of 88. The overs have got their nose in front, 45-88 from that clean sheet. And then the home teams are 54 and 88. Top rope, better effort this week, plus 3.4 units, and you got 3 out of 4 correct. So you're only losing 2.6% for your pot, and you're all over the over in the Para-Manly game. The St George line you backed, and Canberra plus was a good result for you also.
Yeah, it was nice to have a stress-free watch on the Raiders because the Para game went over the total with 2 minutes to play, and the Dragons hit the late penalty goal to push from 4 to 6. Some dark, stressful times. I'll tell you what, if I don't book in to see the Heartbreak away in the week, I'm in all. because it's been a rather stressful here. But no, it was a fairly quiet weekend betting-wise. We just had the 4 games to play there, but I think we were kind of on the right side. We were on the right side of the number, and the Roosters game didn't come off in the end. They were well beaten, but that game firm from 10.5 to 8.5. So got the best of it there, but anyway, can't win them all.
You must just lock yourself in the dungeon. I don't know how you keep up with it. I don't know how you know all the action that you've had. I tell you, you must have to do Monday night, date night to make it up for the missus. You haven't seen her since last Wednesday, I would have thought.
We watched the third last episode of Ozark last night. All's well.
I think if there was Monday night football, you wouldn't have a marriage left. It'd be done. Because Thursday's here all the time, and then Monday would just be the stone end.
I couldn't survive Monday and Thursday. That's true.
All right, let's have a quick look at Thursday night football. And Melbourne Storm $1.15. Lucky there's no turbo because that would look very, very shaky. They're at home. They're back at Amy Park, which is good news for Storm fans. $5.50 Manly and the line 16.5. Toprope. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, just too early to say without kind of team news in this one. The inclusion of Jerome Hughes is just way too important for Melbourne, and would shift the line there. Look, inclination is that I'd rather be on the plus than the minus. 16.5 is a massive, massive line. If Hughes is out, if Hughes plays, I'd probably rather be on the minus there. And I think they can kind of get their season back on track there. So it's really going to swing on whether Jerome plays in the 7. So sorry not to be of more interest on a Monday, but a bit hard to bet until teams come out.
Okay, let's have a look at the Premiership winner market. And Penrith Panthers $2.50 looks juicy to me. Melbourne Storm $3.80, Para $9.50, Cronulla Sharks $10, North Queensland Cowboys on the move there $12, Sydney Roosters $12, Broncos $18, Manly $41, and South Sydney $41, and then Canberra making up the numbers. I would have thought Penrith and the Cowboys flavour of the week.
Yeah, Cowboys off the map. They've firm running. I think they were 80-1 pre-season, so 80s into 12s. Look, I'd be stunned if them or the Broncos would both kind of hit some form. It's probably down to 2. If I was finding an overs out of that lot, I would say the Roosters are kind of very much out. Like the final score flattered Penrith in the end. Like they were getting 8-point tries. They were scoring when players were in the bin. I think the Roosters are still probably the third best team in the comp, so I could jump into the $12 on them, but nothing overexciting.
Well, we'll save that preview, but we're going to learn a lot about Cronulla and the Roosters this Saturday night. Absolute cracker. That's nearly match of the round, I would have thought.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic game. Craig Fitzgibbon up against his old club as well, which is an added little wrinkle to that one there. So I can. Another Saturday night lock-in, Scooty. No date night Saturday.
Wouldn't be many of those. $22 a week, you can get the greatest game of all, Toprope sub every week. So if you need a hand with your NRL Rugby League betting, it's definitely the way you want to go there. Week 11 for charity, MG for Love Me, Love You, $100 on the Tigers. This is where these bets belong. Minus 20.5 there, 1.5 from 6, and then Toprope from Wayside Chapel, 100 on the Roosters, at the plus 11.5, so you're 4 and 7, and then Nicky's for Sids and Kids, 100 on Port Adelaide at plus 21.5 against the Cats. So it's a bold bet down there with the umpires on the Cats side. Week 12 predictions here. We'll kick off with you, MG. You're not. This is. You just put this in just to rev me up.
I thought you'd build the Richmond win up a bit more than you gave it to me last week, saying that I'm pro Richmond. I'm not sure where you necessarily get the stats from, but anyway, there's a new leader. Toprope would recognise MG's finally on top now. Drove up to him outside the leader last week, and now I've hit the lead. So one-man band at the moment in this comp, Scooty. So I'm going to stick with Richmond. Friday night against Sydney, they are outsiders at the moment, plus 8.5. I'll give you one tip, Scooty. Plus 8.5 will not be there come game time, that is for sure. The bookies are a bit slow off the mark here. The Tigers are up and about. And I'm not sure where Sydney are at, losing 3 out of the last 4, Scooty. So there's a little chestnut there to get off the mark on Friday night.
Bottle of Grey Goose. I'll take the Swans.
course you will.
Bottle of
That's all
Grey
right.
Goose. You can't.
That's all right.
Is there a rule that you just can't tip Richmond every week in this segment to go on to victory? It's a rort.
Well, Toprope, the only reason he got the 4, I think, was he was tipping Storm every week, and he's dropped off them the last 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes. He might chime back on him on this week, actually.
Top rope, Wayside Chapel. Who are you betting? 100 free bet.
Wayside Chapel. If I don't start finding something for Wayside Chapel, I'll be taken from Wayside Chapel. Because things have been pretty dire. I'm going to go with the Tigers plus 8.5 against South. I think South, like you said, I think
Go on.
actually cast at the moment. So Tigers are pretty good as big outsiders. Assuming Jackson Hastings has recovered, I think they're a very good bet.
Nikki Sylvester, she's absolutely on fire. She was in Italy, now she's in London. She needs to sign some horse ownership forms and send them back, but I can understand why she isn't. She's having a great time by the look of her on holiday, and she's going to have 100 on Penrith at the minus 10.5. Ooh, balls of steel bet against the inform Cowboys, but again, they're at Bluebet Stadium, so it's going to be hard to beat Penrith at home. They do get the rub of the green, according to Top Rope from the referees. I think that's it. It's a wrap from the show. We've covered we've gone a little bit wide from the Cape, bit of politics in there, and a little bit of the golf sick beat. So if you've got a better sick beat than what's just happened to Top Rope, fire it in. We might send you a prize or a care pack because Top Rope needs a care pack. He needs a real big hug. If you're in the Orange region and just go to KFC and put $100 over the counter and just leave Top Rope's name next to it. And he can just go collect it to drown his sorrows in potato gravy and a bucket of chook.
And if you're from Chile, don't bother coming.
I'll tell you what, the Top Rope is the cheapest chips deal on the KFC app. I had it on Friday night. It was like $20.95. I couldn't believe how much chook I got. So a little plug for KFC. If they're out there, want to sponsor the show, we're big consumers of KFC, especially when the chips are down. MG, final thought?
Good week, Scurdy, that we've had. Looking forward to this week. There looks like there's some betting options around. So the NBA playoffs are going well, so make sure you tune in. Parky is on fire over there. And we've also got the French Opens kicking off this week, Scurdy. So there should be plenty of action.
Just absolutely non-stop. If you're looking for a shave or you need to clean out the nostrils, make sure you check out Manscaped. Punting form was good to me on Saturday. I started backing winners left, right and centre in Adelaide, which was a good one. So if you need to do the horse form, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. Club Tech Golf. I picked up the 3-iron today and it's got a little rattle in it. So make sure if you're in the Melbourne area, clubtechgolf.com.au to buy some sticks or even club repairs. So Dave Jordan there will give you a good deal and type in Little Birdie as a promo code. So if you're starting to get inspired by all the US PGA, you're seeing these really poor swings and think you can hit it out of bounds like Mito did, make sure you check out Club Tech because I tell you what, it's been a big week in sport. It's going to be even bigger this week. So make sure you tune in to Friday's show. Thanks, guys. That's a wrap. I think I'm out. I'm back on holiday now. Nicky's back.
He'll be back next Monday, but you're on Friday. OB's sacked himself. Tough week off the umpires, so Scooty will be back on Friday.
He's in there cleaning house. Good on him, as he should. All right, we'll see you this time Friday.